So I bought this Epiphone Casino in drab olive, and I know I shouldn't do this. I bought it off the internet, so it looked great in the pictures, but close up, the drab finish, as it's called, just looks like a bad paint job. It's really not done very well, and to be honest, I kind of expected more from Epiphone, but it plays really nicely. And sounds great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this horrendous finish and refinish it in an oil. I've just done a test to see how easy this drab finish comes off, and just with a bit of rubbing of sandpaper it's straight off. So I'm going to strip all the hardware out, and then we'll get it back to the wood, and then we'll refinish it. See how we go. So that's all the the hardware stripped off, and you can really see some of the terrible workmanship on this thing. I mean, look at the finish is awful. I know it's meant to be a drab, but that literally looks like a kit that someone's painted that hasn't gone right. It's awful, and look at all this unfinished stuff. I know it's inside, but really, really bad. Little blemishes on it. Literally the earth cable that I was going to cut, which should be solidly attached in there, just fell out when I took the electrics out. Yeah, it's really not great, but I'm going to persevere. So let's strip the finish off. See what's underneath. Okay, so all the paint's off, apart from these bits around here, which I'm hoping will just disappear into the black when I do the next phase. So I've taken it all back to the wood, which took 2 days. Yeah, it's been a bit of a mission, but ultimately it's worth doing. Cool, so now I'm going to hit it with some black Rit dye, and what we'll do with the Rit dye is we'll let it soak in, then we'll sand it off again so it all sits in the grain. Hopefully it will blend in with these bits, and then we'll sand that back, and then we'll oil it. Let's see how we go. Okay, so we've hit it with the black Rit dye, which is a tip from my probably favourite guitar builder on YouTube, Dan Thompson, Guns and Guitars guy. Go and check him out, and he's really good. And what we've done is I've literally just lathered it over, really sort of quite liberally. It's sort of got the Joe Perry Boneyard look about it, but it's all going to get sanded back again, so that it just sits in the grain. So when we oil it, we get that lovely sort of black grain coming through. But what we'll do for the moment is we'll go and have some lunch, let this dry for a couple of hours, and then come back and we'll hand sand it. Okay then, time to hit it with some oil. As you can see, I've sanded it back, so all the black Rit dye is sitting in the grain, and what that'll do, hopefully, is it'll pop out when it gets some oil on it. So 320 grit, 600 grit, 1000 grit, so it's super smooth. Let's bang some oil on it. So the following day, after the oil is dried, I've got this super cool, almost boneyard, Joe Perry looking finish on the Epiphone. Really into it. It's great. And that was just a couple of coats of True Oil. Again, another Dan Thompson recommendation from Guns and Guitars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire wool this back. Oh, it's just gorgeous. I'm going to wire wool it back and put another couple of coats of True Oil on it, and then we'll polish it up and we'll put all the hardware back on it. But it's definitely looking great. So I've just finished putting the electrics back in this, and I have to say that was one of the most tedious jobs I've ever done. It took me nearly 2 hours to fish that all through there. This is just an awful design. I know it's classic, but I'm so glad Fender and Gibson decided to put back plates on most of their other guitars, because this is just a nightmare. I think if I had to redesign the Casino, I would put a plate on the back that you could access the pots, because that was ridiculous, and I don't think I'm ever going to change the pickups just because of that. Anyway, we move on. Another little upgrade is the tone and volume controls. These were the original ones that came with the Casino, but I'm going to upgrade them or change them to these chrome ones. Some nice chrome control knobs, because I think that'll be more in keeping with the style of it now. And also, I think I'm going to leave the scratch plate off, because I just think a big bit of white plastic just doesn't look right on it. I always take these scratch plates off of my Les Paul style guitars, because scratch plates are fine on Fenders and stuff. Obviously, house all the electrics on Fenders, but I just think it looks better without. So we're going to leave that. There we go.